The person that kind of got me into racing was Lewis Hamilton when he won the championship in 2008 in Brazil. I remember watching that race. I started racing when I was 8 years old in go-karting. I don't know, I kind of went up through the ranks. I became British karting champion when I was 12 and European and World karting champion when I was 14. It's quite difficult to go into car racing. I struggled a little bit in the beginning, but then once I got onto it, I was at a good level. Last year, I won the British Formula 3 Championship, won quite a few races, and I think the key to success was I worked really, really hard with the driving side of things, not so much off the track with fitness or anything like that, but the driving was very, very important. And the fight was never with other drivers, I felt it was always within myself. I used to push myself beyond what I felt was a call of duty in that car, but that's what made me a lot better than the other drivers in that field at the time.
On his 24th and final race of the season, Ahmed claimed his 13th victory, surpassing the record number of wins achieved by the legendary Ayrton Senna in 1983.
It meant a lot to me to even get close to Mr. Senna's record. To surpass it was something else. It was quite emotional. So he's obviously been a childhood hero of mine. It just shows in British F3 how much of a history it's had. Even when he raced them, we were racing on the same circuits and most of them still haven't changed. It gives you an idea of how the cars have got safer, but the circuits haven't, so it's quite scary actually. I chose to move up to European F3 because it's the only championship where people can take drivers seriously. All the best drivers come from it, and even though I won British F3, a lot of people wanted to see how I did in European F3. So I knew I had a job to do and I had to prove to other people what I could do. It was going to be difficult because I don't know a lot of the tracks, very new to the car. But yeah, you know, I took it as it came. Right now we're on the simulator, and usually we do it to prepare before each race weekend. We've got quite a few tracks to learn, so I've got a lot of work to be done here. And yeah, it's quite cozy in here, as you can see, so yeah. This year in particular, they've restricted testing a lot, so you can't go practice and learn the tracks for yourself in real life. You only get 1 hour practice before qualifying. It's not so much about how it looks, the simulator, it's more about the software. The software is probably the most important part. I've been on sims that look incredible, even like with the moving and everything like that, but they're not actually realistic to drive. So something like this, which is actually, for racing sims, is quite simple, is actually really, really good and actually feels more in tune to how it is in real life. Racing's 99.9% a mental sport. I mean, you can lose something from being physically unfit, but you can't really gain anything like in other sports by being fitter than another driver. It's all down to the mind. This year, particularly in F3, the downforce has increased, so I need to be getting a lot stronger. You need to be as light as possible, but still be strong enough to be able to hold the car. Neck is quite important as you go up, because when the downforce and the grip increases, your neck tends to hold on for dear life, so that's quite hard. When you've done like a hard circuit and your body's very tired, you have to go back to do the reactions to see how well your brain can cope with being under stress. When I first started doing that, I'd be so bad with my reactions, but now I'm getting there slowly. I don't know how I've always been good at starts, because I always get people on the line, so maybe my reaction's not too bad when I got the adrenaline going. Britain has the strongest competition level at a national level compared to most other countries, but the European Championship is much harder. The main thing is I find in British F3, if I wasn't fully committed to the car and there was a little bit left in reserve, I'd still be first. But now in European F3, every time I come out the track, I'm like out of breath, I'm like, you know, like I'm completely finished.
Since his arrival on the European circuit, Ahmed has already podiumed multiple times, and even though the future looks bright for the young driver, he's keeping his feet firmly on the ground.
F3 at the moment I'm really enjoying because it's a car that reminds me a lot of karting, because you have to push the car a lot, there's a lot of grip, and I've always gone better with cars that have more power and more grip. I feel like I'm in a Formula 1 season because I'm racing the best drivers of my generation, and eventually the drivers that you see in F3 will all be in F1. It's like I'm racing the guys of the future, so I'm happy to be here.